Now at 5 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the latest on a chicken farm that caught on fire in Brazos County. 2 Republican senators have challenged presidential candidate Donald Trump's opposition to a border bill. This as debate over border security continues. And the House Homeland Security Committee has advanced the impeachment resolution against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas.
We continue with spring-like temperatures. Late this afternoon, a big cloud deck rolled into our area, but no major problems. This activity is not the one. The one that's coming in on Friday night is out there on the West Coast, and we'll tell you what it's going to do for your weekend. Stay tuned.
Plus, tensions continue to rise in the Middle East in the wake of that deadly drone attack in Jordan. The latest this afternoon. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for being with us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia has the day off. The Goliad County Sheriff's Office is working a bailout at Clip Road and U.S. Highway 59. Authorities tell us they have 10 people in custody with up to 3 more in the brush. Deputies are working with Border Patrol to locate them. A Faces of Homeless panel will be held Thursday afternoon in Victoria. The panel provides a chance for talks between people who have experienced homelessness with those who want to learn more about homelessness. The panel will be at the UHV West Alcorn Auditorium, room 204 at 3007 North Ben Wilson Street. Here's your viewer poll this afternoon. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's the question. What do you think is the main reason for homelessness? Is it inadequate, affordable housing, unemployment, mental health, substance abuse issues, lack of social support, or limited education? We want to know your opinion. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and I will have an update on 25 News now at 6. The National Weather Service has posted a river flood warning for the Crossroads. The warning for Victoria and Calhoun counties is in effect until Thursday morning for the Guadalupe River near Bloomington. At 9 o'clock a.m. today, the river was at 22.4 feet. Flood stage is 20 feet. And now let's take a first look at your First Warn Storm Team forecast. Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis joined us now with the look what's going on outside. Another sunny, really nice day, Mac.
Yeah, it was. I was out there enjoying it as well. And then all of a sudden, this cloud deck rolled in late this afternoon. A weak system out here in the west Texas is not the problem. You can see, however, we're getting that tap of moisture. All of our upper winds are coming up from the south. That's why, A, it's so warm, and that's why it's likely to have enough moisture to rain. But right here is the front that's going to affect our area Friday night and Saturday. Right now, it's coming down cats and dogs along the west coast. We'll be talking more about your weekend forecast coming up in a moment.
Mac, thank you. 2 Republican senators are calling out former President Trump for his public opposition to the Senate negotiated border bill between Republicans and Democrats. This as GOP leaders in the Senate meet on whether to try to stick with it, even as House Speaker Mike Johnson says it will be dead on arrival. Even before it was released, Trump called support for the bill a, quote, betrayal, unquote.
Former president calls this a betrayal. Is that what do you think of that characterization?
It's certainly not a betrayal. Actually, we've got to be able to deal with issues in law. That's how we actually deal with things in America.
Does he have access to the bill?
Doesn't seem that way.
It hasn't been released. How does he know it's a betrayal if he hasn't read it? I mean, don't be ignorant. Read the bill.
Regarding the border, Republicans say President Biden should use more executive actions to address immigration, but Biden says he's done all he can without help from Congress. However, he also says the day he can sign a bipartisan bill letting him close the border, he'll shut it down. Meanwhile, the House Homeland Security Committee has voted to advance their impeachment resolution against Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. House Republicans claim Mayorkas committed high crimes and misdemeanors in his handling of the border, with Democrats arguing the evidence does not reach that high bar. The next step is for the full House of Representatives to vote on the impeachment articles, but a date has not been set. 3 people were hurt in a water pipe explosion at a construction site in the Austin area. KVUE reports the explosion happened while workers were cutting on the pipe. One of the patients went to a hospital with serious, potentially life-threatening injuries. OSHA says it has opened an official investigation into this incident. A large fire has finally been put out at a chicken farm near Bryan. KBTX reports it's not known what sparked the blaze at Feather Crest Farms. One of the structures destroyed in the fire did contain live chickens. Around 100 first responders from several counties were on the scene when the fire broke out. Crews have continued to monitor the smoldering buildings, including checking the air quality for carbon monoxide. The investigation into the cause of the fire is ongoing. Tensions continue to escalate in the Middle East. Iranian leaders have spoken out after President Biden announced he has made a decision on how to respond after that deadly drone attack in Jordan. Sanctions have also been announced against the Iranian Revolution Guard.
As tensions rise in the Middle East, top Iranian officials speaking out. The commander-in-chief for Iran's Revolutionary Guard saying the U.S. and Iran share an understanding of each other, adding, while we are not looking for war, we are not afraid of war, and we do not run away from it. The White House preparing a response to the deadly drone attack that killed 3 U.S. service members in Jordan over the weekend.
The response will be a justified response to attacks on our troops that caused the death of 3 American soldiers. We don't see conflict with Iran. We don't want conflict with Iran.
It's unclear when, how, or where the Biden administration will respond. But a senior official tells ABC News that the operation will last several days and hit multiple deliberate targets, most of them inside Syria, including facilities that enabled the initial attack.
We believe that the attack in Jordan was planned, resourced, and facilitated by an umbrella group called the Islamic Resistance in Iraq.
Though the president holds Iran responsible for supplying weapons for the militants, another official says he's unlikely to order any strikes inside Iran over concern it could expand the conflict. The U.S. still facing threats. Today, a U.S. aircraft striking down a surface-to-air missile in a Houthi-controlled part of Yemen, a U.S. official saying it posed an imminent threat. The U.S. State Department announcing the U.S. is sanctioning 3 entities and an individual accused of supporting the organizations funding the attacks on the U.S. military and ships in the region. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
The South Texas Blood and Tissue Center is urgently asking for blood donors of all blood types. The center especially needs type O and platelet donors to make an appointment now to meet the daily hospital demand. The need for blood, especially type O, is particularly high. O-negative blood is critical because it can be used for any patient in an emergency, while O-positive is the most common blood type. Platelets are also urgently needed to support patients undergoing chemotherapy and suffering from traumatic injuries. Election day for the Victoria mayor election is this Saturday. 14 polling centers will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the ballot. Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, Josephine Solis, Dwayne Crocker, Jacob Sauceda, and Bob Constantine. Join us Saturday for complete coverage of the special mayoral election. Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. The Calhoun County Commissioners Court approved their agreement with VEDC to provide economic development services in the Calhoun County area. And the Calhoun Port Authority Board won the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence Award. Plus, the Point Comfort City Council approved Lori Sparks as councilwoman after Laura Kurtz's resignation. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com. The Cayman Furniture Company delivered furniture to a home in our area today. It's their annual Magic of Christmas giveaway, which was postponed in December. Cayman Furniture has done this for several decades. 25 News Now weekend anchor Adam Seibel will introduce us to the family tonight on 25 News Now at 10. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. Stay with us. The mother of the Oxford High School shooter in Michigan continued her trial. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5, we take a look at the new evidence introduced. Also ahead, top social media CEOs are on Capitol Hill today to explain to lawmakers how they plan on making their social media apps safer for children. High school student who killed 4 classmates in a school shooting in 2021 continued her trial today. Prosecutors showed a screenshot of her son's lock screen taken at 3:03 p.m. on the day of the shooting. The messages show his mother sending, "Ethan, don't do it," and his father saying, "Ethan, call me now." A lieutenant testified it was the mother's message that made him want to search the parents' phones. She is facing 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in the deaths of 4 students. Some consumer groups and health experts say social media can put children and teens at risk for everything from bullying to eating disorders to depression. Today, lawmakers brought in 5 top tech executives to ask about their plan to make their spaces safer.
Parents holding photos of young loved ones allegedly harmed by social media, greeting CEOs from Meta, X, TikTok, Snap, and Discord Wednesday as they arrived to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee over potential dangers posed by their platforms.
Their constant pursuit of engagement and profit over basic safety have all put our kids and grandkids at risk.
At issue, fears of a worsening mental health crisis among children and teens due to social media, including increased risk of depression and suicide, as well as promotion and access to dangerous or illicit substances, national security concerns, and online child sexual exploitation.
You have blood on your hands.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle blasting the 5 CEOs for not backing legislation to keep users safe.
I'm so tired of this. It's been 28 years, since the internet. We haven't passed any of these bills because everyone's double talk.
The social media companies have largely maintained they are best suited to help users make smart decisions, touting enhanced safety policies and tools while also deflecting responsibility.
Mental health is a complex issue, and the existing body of scientific work has not shown a causal link between using social media and young people having worse mental health outcomes.
The senators appeared unconvinced, demanding the corporations accept more oversight and be held accountable for any harm caused by their platforms.
Norfolk Southern is now in the restoration phase in East Palestine, Ohio, about 1 year after the toxic train derailment. So far, the railroad has spent tens of millions of dollars cleaning up the area. The company has also installed a train inspection portal near the disaster site in North Palestine, where it'll take multiple pictures to look for any anomalies and track the speed of trains. Several more of these inspection sites will be installed in high traffic areas by the end of the year. Stanley and other brands of travel tumblers are in this year, but they're also going viral for another reason. There's fears the popular cups may contain lead.
Consumers have waited in long lines to snag one. One woman is even accused of stealing $2,500 worth of them. While the Stanley Cup craze continues, some are worried their favorite tumblers may contain lead.
I think anytime you hear that you'll be exposed to lead, you should be concerned.
A spokesperson for Stanley acknowledges that the material used to seal the vacuum insulation at the base of the cups does contain some lead, but says once sealed, this area is covered with a durable stainless steel layer, making it inaccessible to consumers, adding, "Rest assured that no lead is present on the surface of any Stanley product that comes into contact with the consumer, nor the contents of the product." While lead exposure is dangerous, especially to young children and those who are pregnant, Dr. Denise Milstein with Mayo Clinic says she doesn't think it's necessary to ditch your cups.
So if you are using these cups correctly and they are not broken in terms of their sealant, I don't think you need to be terribly concerned.
Milstein says many people use the cups to help encourage more water consumption, a healthy alternative to beverages like soda.
So I do want to encourage people to put this in context for their overall health, not just to be fearful of the potential lead exposure alone.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Here's a look at some of the top headlines you'll find in the Cuero Record. The Cuero Chamber of Commerce hosts the State of Cuero Business Luncheon, and a Black History Month event is scheduled in Cuero for this Saturday. Read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com.
Yeah, well, good afternoon, everyone. We had lots of sunshine all day long, but then all of a sudden these clouds showed up late in the day. That's because all that tropical moisture is sort of drifting toward us. That will happen for tomorrow as well. 69 degrees right about now. We managed to get up to 71 today after a fairly cool 43 with the overnight low. Temperatures are going to feel very spring-like again tomorrow. And then Friday, things get complicated as that frontal system from the Pacific starts rolling into our area. We may have some thunder showers by Saturday morning. We'll be talking more about that coming up in just a moment. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Another mild day with temperatures getting into the 70s. We have a little bit of heavier cloud cover and maybe even a few showers out in far west Texas, but that is not going to affect us. In fact, what we're looking at is a little bit farther to the west, but you'll see how the tropical air is rolling up basically from the Pacific over Mexico and into our area. That's why it feels so spring-like. I mean, it doesn't feel like the end of January, the beginning of February, does it? Well, here again, as I mentioned yesterday, monster storms on the west coast of California right here. Big rain, heavy rain. In fact, they're getting probably 50-mile-an-hour winds buffeting the coastal areas from Medford, Oregon, all the way down to probably Oxnard. This is another one of those powerful Pacific storms, and there's going to be a couple more still behind that, which is where all the weather is going to be over the next 5 to 7 days. For tonight, for us here in the Crossroads, we're getting down to about 47 degrees, looking at about a 50 up there in Nixon, and 54 down along the coast at Port Lavaca. We are looking for another fairly mild day, temperatures getting up to around 70 degrees. We'll probably have a little bit more cloud cover on your Thursday, and then it's Friday when things get real interesting. First of all, by Friday, we're going to have a real strong sea breeze blowing up. Probably you'll feel it. I don't know if you're flying a plane or anything like that, but we'll get about a 30-mile-an-hour wind blowing from the ocean toward North Texas, because that's where the next storm will be rolling through. Now, here's an interesting map. This is for Friday, okay? This is severe weather outlook for Friday. What happens here? Well, we have a slight chance, just a marginal chance, of having some sort of heavy weather rolling through with that front late Friday night into Saturday. Now, this is the Storm Prediction Center up in Norman, Oklahoma, so they're really smart guys. So they're predicting something's going to be popping in the state on Friday as that front comes through. Here are the low temperatures for Thursday, 51, Friday, 57, then 61 on Saturday before the actual cooler air comes in. It's not a huge cold front. Look at the only drop in temperatures there, and we continue to have things that surely don't feel like wintertime. As what Don mentioned, there is still an alert for the river south of the city. This is in Bloomington, so those of you that know the confluence of the Guadalupe and San Antonio rivers, Green Lake, all that area, is still a little soggy, but the crest has passed, as you can see there. We're right about here today, so we continue on the fall down, and so things will be getting back into their banks fairly soon. High pressure now east of us. That gives us that east wind. That east wind is going to get stronger as the big storm on the west coast starts to move across the Rockies. Again, that system will be in Oklahoma by the time we get to Saturday morning, and that's when the front blows through here. At that time, we may have some thunder bumpers, some actual thunder and lightning, and therefore we may watch out for that activity as it gets closer to us because it may be a little stronger than that. Looking for a 71 tomorrow in Port Lavaca, and in Cuero looking for a 71 as well. We're looking good really until Friday night, then Saturday morning, and then Saturday afternoon everything clears up just in time for Sunday. That is your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Don.
Mike, thank you. And coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at your stocks. Plus, despite the U.S. inflation spike, the Federal Reserve has held interest rates steady. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow down 317 points, the S&P 500 down 79 points, and the Nasdaq down 346 points. Oil down $1.97, closing at $75.85 a barrel. For the fourth time, the Federal Reserve is holding interest rates steady. As a way to fight this fast inflation spike, the central bank boosted these rates 11 consecutive times since March 2022. Price hikes have slowed since then and are crawling closer to the 2% target the Fed wants. Analysts predict a rate cut could come in March, but others say that could be delayed due to stronger than expected economic data and easing financial conditions. A new report by the Higher Education Advisory Group found collective debt grew by nearly $1 billion for college students who took out loans between 2013 and 2015 but never finished their degrees. For students who took out loans during the same period but finished their degrees, they owed $3 billion less than they first borrowed. The study found the biggest difference was in earning potential. Those who graduated had an easier time paying off their debt. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast. Plus, a beloved Sesame Street character checks in on the public online. And now here's a look at what's coming up on World News Tonight right after 25 News Now at 5.
Coming up tonight, the showdown, social media companies facing blistering questions. Also tonight, the horror, a son attacking and beheading his own father, a federal worker, his rage over the government. And authorities say the NYPD officers attacked by asylum seekers. We're next.
This story may leave you tickled. With the first month of the year nearly over, Elmo checked in on the public. On social media, he asked, "How is everybody doing?" Celebrities, news outlets, and fellow Sesame Street characters all replied with despair, dread, and exhaustion. Many wrote about the cold weather, massive layoffs, and potential war. So if you're feeling some doom and gloom right now, you're not alone. Sesame Street thanked Elmo for checking in and posted links to mental health resources. Yeah, you know, when I was growing up, if I wanted to find out about everything bad going on in the world, I was dialed into Sesame Street, looking to see if Big Bird would have weather forecasts, you know.
Well, you know,
because his head is higher towards the sky than ours.
He knows what's up there, you know. But Big Bird always had something good to say.
Yeah.
Oh, it's depressing. Massive layoffs. Oh, that's going to be.
Yes. You know, one thing I mentioned earlier, there is a Black History Month event going on in Cuero starting Saturday morning at 11. And right now, I think it's at the Cuero City Park. Do you think the rain will have passed through if that event is outside? I'm not sure.
I really wish, and because they're watching and they all know that the forecast is coming, that they have a plan B. You know, they can go to the library or to the museum or something like that, some city building to do that celebration. I don't want you to call it off. I just want you to realize that the weather is not going to be conducive for that. The only concern we really have on Saturday morning is thunder and lightning and brief heavy downpours, because this is a fast-moving line of thunderstorms that's coming through. But the good news is in the afternoon hours, it will clear up. So yes, thanks for bringing that up, Don. Looks like Friday night into Saturday morning, we'll have some stormy weather around here. Temperatures are not particularly going to cool down much, just into the upper 60s, but that will be through Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon and evening, things will clear up and be very nice. In fact, Sunday looks really nice. Well, there's another possibility. You could put it on Sunday.
That's right.
Oh, no, can't do that. It would interfere with church.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
the people in Cuero will have a plan C for Cuero. They'll figure it out.
Plan C.
That's right. Mac, thank you, and thanks for being with us. We'll see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is next.